Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's women's college basketball games from the round of 32 and look ahead to today's games. NBA, NHL, MLB spring training, second baseman rankings, latest news and notes. Masked Singer tonight will preview tonight's episode, and my best bet of the day. All right, we're going to start with the women's tournament because, well, this is March. So we'll look back on yesterday's games and look ahead to today's game. So without further ado, here we go. So this is the round of 32, Mercado region, 1-seeded NC State over 8-seeded South Florida, 79-67. Riverwalk region, 5-seeded Iowa over number 4-seeded Kentucky's 86-72. Riverwalk region, 6-seeded Michigan over 3-seeded Tennessee, 70-55. Hemisphere region, 5-seeded Georgia Tech over 4-seeded West Virginia, 73-56. Riverwalk region, 2-seeded Baylor over 7-seeded Virginia Tech, 90-48. Hemisphere region, 1-seeded South Carolina over 8-seeded Oregon State, 59-42. Riverwalk region, 1-seeded UConn over 8-seeded Syracuse, 83-47. And Alamo region, 1-seeded Stanford over 8-seeded Oklahoma State, 73-62. All right, looking ahead to today's games, 1 o'clock ESPN2, number 7-seeded Alabama, 2-seeded Maryland in the Hemisphere region. I think Maryland's the better team, and I think that they will advance. 3 o'clock ESPNU, Alamo region, 6-seeded Oregon, 3-seeded Georgia. Tough one. I am going to go with Georgia. Alamo region, 3 o'clock ESPNU, 13-seeded Wright State, 5-seeded Missouri State. I like this Missouri State team. I think that they could surprise some people, so I think they can go pretty far. I'm going to say that they go to the Sweet 16 here. 5 o'clock ESPNU, Mercado region, 12-seeded Belmont, 4-seeded Indiana. Tough call. I'm going to go with the Hoosiers. Don't feel good about it. ESPN2, 7-seeded Northwestern, 2-seeded Louisville in the Alamo region. Louisville's just a better team. I think they advance. 7 o'clock ESPNU, 11-seeded BYU, 3-seeded Arizona, Mercado region. BYU, that was a surprising upset over Rutgers the other day, but I think they fell short here against Arizona. ESPN2, 7-seeded Iowa State against 2-seeded Texas A&M. Mercado region, I think that A&M's better, so I think they'll advance. And 9 o'clock ESPN2, 6-seeded Texas, 3-seeded UCLA in the Hemisphere region. This is another tough call. I think Texas has the best player on the court in this game. I think this is my upset pick. I'm going to go with Texas over UCLA to advance into the Sweet 16. Now we'll look back on last night's NBA games, and we will look ahead to today's games. Nuggets over to Magic 110-99. The Nuggets 26-17. Orlando 14-29. Nikola Jokic had 28 points, 15 boards, and 10 assists. Evan Fournier, maybe his last game as a member of the Magic, 31-6. Pelicans over to Lakers 128-111. Pelicans 19-24. Lakers 28-16. Brandon Ingram 36 points. Montrezl Harrell had 18 for the Lakers. Suns over to Heat 110-100. Suns 29-13. Miami 22-22. Devin Booker had 23 points for the Suns. Kendrick Nunn 25 for Miami. 76ers over the Warriors 108-98, so best bet comes through. Although Golden State had the lead in the fourth quarter. Philly 31-13. Golden State 22-22. Tobias Harris 25 points, 13 boards, 4 assists. Kelly Oubre Jr. had 24 and 10 boards. Nets over the Trailblazers 116-112. Brooklyn 30-14. Portland 25-18. James Harden 25 points and 17 assists. Damian Lillard 22 points and 9 assists. All right. Now we'll look ahead to tonight's window of games. 12 deep it goes tonight. 7 o'clock you have the Pistons and the Pacers. I'm at Indy 12 total 222. Meanwhile, Indiana, according to FanDuel, is a 6-point favorite. We don't have it totally out yet. I'm going to lay the 6 with Indiana. 7:30 ESPN Celtics Bucks. I'm at Milwaukee 9.5 total 228. Meanwhile, it is Milwaukee by 4.5. We don't have a total yet, and I'm laying the 4.5 of Milwaukee at -114. Nuggets Raptors. I'm at Nuggets 12 total 225.5. Meanwhile, it is Nuggets 2 total 224.5. That is so low. I'm laying the 2 with Denver. Is this a trap game? It better not be. That is way too low for Denver. 8 o'clock Suns Magic. I'm at Suns 19 total 218.5. Meanwhile, it's 8.5. We don't have a total yet, and I'm going to lay it with the Suns. Cavs Bulls. I'm at Bulls 5 total 221.5. Meanwhile, it's 6 and 228 or 218.5. I'm going to take the over. Taking the over in a Bulls game is a win for me. Hornets Rockets. I'm at Hornets 3 total 222.5. Meanwhile, it's Hornets 3.5 total 223. This is a hard one to handicap because I'm half point off on the side and the total. But at gunpoint, I have to take the Rockets getting the 3.5. I think that the loss of LaMelo will bite him somewhere. Mavs Timberwolves. I'm at Dallas 20 total 225. Meanwhile, it's 8 and 220 or 231. I'm going to lay the 8 with Dallas. Grizzlies Thunder. A lot of 8 o'clock games tonight. I'm at Memphis 4 total to 20.5. Meanwhile, it's 5 and we don't have a total yet. If the total is anything higher than 222, I'm taking the under. And if it's anything lower than 219, I'm taking the over. $8:30 Clippers Spurs. I'm at Clippers 10 total to 22. Meanwhile, it's 5.5 and 220.5. I'm laying the 5.5 with the Clippers. 10 o'clock ESPN, Nets Jazz, best game of the night. I'm at Utah 8.5, total 230.5. Meanwhile, it is Utah 8.5, and we don't have a total yet. If the total is anything higher than 232, I'm taking the under. And if it's anything lower than 229, I'm taking the over. And last but not least, Hawks Kings. I'm at Hawks 5, total 228.5. Meanwhile, it is Hawks 3, total 236.5. I'm taking the under. They've been overinflating Kings overs. So I'm going to go under 236.5 between the Hawks and the Kings. All right, that's it for NBA for tonight. Now we'll look back on hockey from yesterday and look ahead to what I don't think is a busy slate tonight in the National Hockey League. Devils over the Flyers 4-3. The Devils 12-14-2. Flyers 15-12-4. The number 3 started game with 2 goals, Sean Couturier. The number 2 started game with a goal and assist, Travis Zajac. And the number 1 started game with a goal and assist for New Jersey, Yegor Chernogovic. Blackhawks over the Panthers 3-2. The Blackhawks with the big win 15-13-5. Florida 28-4. The number 3 started game with an assist for Chicago, Brandon Hagel. The number 2 started game with 2 assists, Patrick Kane. And the number 1 started game with 33 saves on 35 shots, Kevin Lankinen, who's been brilliant for Chicago this year. Preds over the Red Wings 2-0. The Preds 15-17-1. Detroit 10-19-4. The number 3 started game with the goal for Nashville, Matthew Olivier. Number 2 started game with the goal, Mikhail Gradlin. Number 1 started game with 31 saves on 31 shots, Juuse Saros. Lightning over the Stars 2-1. The Bolts 24-6-2. Dallas 10-11-8. The number 3 started game with the goal, Steven Stamkos. The number 2 started game with the goal, Roope Hintz. And the number 1 started game with 16 saves on 17 shots, Andrei Vasilevsky. Coyotes over the Avalanche 5-4 in a shootout. Arizona 14-14-5. Colorado 28-3. The number 3 started game with 35 saves on 39 shots, Aiden Hill. The number 2 started game with the goal and assist, Phil Kessel. The number 1 started the game with the shootout goal, Connor Garland. Islanders Bruins from yesterday is postponed due to COVID tracing with Boston. Now look ahead to tonight's window. 5 deep we go. 5 o'clock you have the Flames and the Senators. The Flames are -178. The The Sens are plus 150, over under 6.5, overs plus 106, the unders minus 130. Flames, minus 1.5 is plus 132. Senators, plus 1.5 is minus 160. I'm going to go Calgary in regulation at minus 115. I think they're better than Ottawa. I think this could be a multi-goal win for Calgary. So give me Calgary regulation minus 115. 5:30 NBCSN, the Ducks and the Wild. That's a very early game for the Wild. The Wild are minus 270. The Ducks are plus 220. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 130. Wild minus 1.5 is plus 108. I'm going to go with the over 5.5. I'm sorry, under 5.5 at minus 115. Am I saying over? I don't like this over. I like the under in this game. I think this is a low-scoring game. John Gibson, Capo Kakinen maybe, or Cam Talbot. So I'm going to go under 5.5 at minus 115. 8 o'clock NBCSN, you have the Penguins hosting the Sabres. The Pens are minus 270. The Sabres are plus 220. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 134. Unders plus 110. Buffalo plus 1.5 is minus 106. Pens minus 1.5 is minus 113. This is tough. I'm going to go Penguins puck line minus 113. Minus 1.5 at minus 113. That's the most valuable play on the board right now. Just betting against the Sabres on the puck line is the way to go. So I'm going to go Penguins puck line minus 1.5 and minus 113. 10:30 Jets Canucks. The Jets are minus 144. The Canucks are plus 122. Over under 6.5. Overs plus 112. Unders minus 138. Jets minus 1.5 is plus 172. Canucks plus 1.5 is minus 210. I'm going to go. This is another hard one. I'm going to go Jets regulation at plus 110. I like the groove that they've been on of late. Vancouver's been very erratic, so I'm going to go with the Jets plus 110 in regulation. Last but not least, 10:30 NBCSN, the Kings and the Sharks. The Sharks minus 118. The Kings are plus 100. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Kings plus 1.5 is minus 265. Sharks minus 1.5 is plus 215. I'm going to go Kings plus 100 to win outright. I just like them as a dog. They tend to win outright. I had them against Vegas, and they won. I didn't bet it, but I thought that they'd win. I had it in the parlay, so I actually did bet it. So I take that back. So that was my mistake. I thought I called it on the podcast, but I just bet it in a parlay. So I'm going to go Kings plus 100 even money against San Jose for tonight. And then Oilers, Canadians postponed due to COVID tracing. And the next 3 Canadians games are postponed due to COVID tracing, unfortunately. Alrighty, now we'll move on to Major League Baseball spring training results. And I will look ahead to today's games. Yankees and Tigers ended in a 5-5 tie. Mike Tauchman homered for the Yankees. Red Sox over the Braves 7-6. Garrett Richards to win, Hector Yanoa the loss. Kevin McCarthy to save. Xander Bogaerts, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Jake Lamb twice homered for their respective teams. Pirates over the Twins 1-0. Adam Frazier homered in this game for Pittsburgh. Orioles over the Rays 4-3. Trey Mancini homered in this game for Baltimore. That was nice to see. Maikel Franco homered for Baltimore as well. Nats and Cardinals tied at 5. Kyle Schwarber homered in this game for the Nats. Mets over the Marlins 5-3. Marcus Stroman the win in this game for New York. Homers, Miguel Rojas, Francisco Lindor, J.D. Davis. Rangers over the Angels 6-4. Jordan Lyles to win, Andrew Heaney to loss, Joe Palumbo to save. Taylor Ward homered for the Angels. Evisale Garcia homered for the Rangers. In this game, it also had a sac fly. Adolis Garcia. Evisale Garcia is on the Brewers now. White Sox over the Cubs 3-1. Nothing really special happened in that game. A's over the Rockies 4-1. Kyle Freeland was charged with a loss in this game for the Rockies. Lou Trevino got the save for Oakland. Giants over the Indians 7-0. Logan Webb, the win. Zach Plesac, the loss. Donovan Salamo, Tommy Slater, Tommy LaStella, Brandon Crawford, all homered for San Francisco. Padres over the Reds 5-4. Nick Castellanos homered for the Reds in this game. Brewers over the Dodgers 9-6. Corbin Burns the win. Walker Buehler the loss. Justin Turner, Keston Hiura, Christian Yelich, Omar Narvaez, Hiura again were the homers in this game for their respective teams. Blue Jays over the Phillies 9-3. Tommy Malone the win. Zach Wheeler the loss. Yuli Gurriel Jr., JT Realmuto, Robert Quinn hit homers for their respective teams. Mariners over the Diamondbacks 3-0. Getting the win in this game for Seattle was Chris Flexen, Merrill Kelly the loss, and Casey Sadler the save. Now today's games: 1 o'clock Blue Jays Yankees, Braves Pirates, Twins Rays, Mets Cardinals, Phillies Tigers, 4 o'clock A's White Sox, Rockies Brewers, Royals Angels, Orioles Red Sox at 6 o'clock, Astros Nats, 9 o'clock Rangers Reds, Indians Diamondbacks, 9:30 Cubs Mariners, and 10 o'clock the Padres and the Giants. All right, now I'm going to do my latest, or I should say preseason second baseman rankings as we head closer to the season. So without further ado, here we go. 30, Nicky Lopez, Royals. 29, Yolmer Sanchez, Orioles. 28, Dylan Moore, Mariners. 27, Donovan Solano, Giants. 26, Jed Lowry, Athletics. 25, Adam Frazier, Pirates. 24, Enrique Hernandez, Red Sox. 23, Cesar Hernandez, Indians. 22, Jonathan Scope, Tigers. 21, Starlin Castro, Nationals. 20, Esteban Cabrera, Diamondbacks. 19, Colton Wong, Brewers. 18, David Fletcher, Angels. 17, Gene Segura, Phillies. 16, Jazz Chisholm, Marlins. 15, Tommy Edman, Cardinals. 14, Jake Cronenworth, Padres. 13, Brendan Rodgers, Rockies. 12, Nick Selak, Rangers. 11, Chris Taylor, Dodgers. 10, Nico Horner, Cubs. 9, Nick Madrigal, White Sox. 8, Marcus Semien, Blue Jays. 7, Ozzie Albies, Braves. 6, Jorge Polanco, Twins. 5, Brandon Lau, Rays. 4, Mike Moustakas, Reds. 3, Jeff McNeil, Mets. 2, Jose Altuve, Astros. And my number one second baseman coming into 2021, David John LeMahieu, DJ LeMahieu, New York Yankees. Just signed a 6-year contract to remain the Yankee and took less money to do so, but they gave him more years. And he's a hitting machine. AL MVP candidate the last 2 years. Could very well be one again this year. Jose Altuve, I think his reputation took a hit because of the cheating scandal, but he's still a really good player. Jeff McNeil, I think, is awesome. I just don't think he gets the credit because he's on the Mets. Mike Moustakas, I think, is someone that's a real power threat. Brandon Lau, Rays. I think Brandon Lau is an up-and-coming player. He had a really good World Series, or a couple good World Series games, I should say. Jorge Polanco, really good player. Came over from shortstop to second base. Ozzie Albies, a little inconsistent, but still really good if you get him on the right day. Marcus Semien, he also moves from shortstop to second base. Maybe Toronto's change of scenery for him after a brutal year last year. Nick Madrigal, only a handful of games, but I think he's going to break out onto the scenes and be a Rookie of the Year candidate for the White Sox. And Nico Horner, I took over Chris Taylor for the 10 spot because I think Horner, is can be a more consistent player than Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor's good. It was a tough call between those guys. And Nick Selak has had a good spring training. So, second baseman, I think there's not a lot of great ones. But obviously, there's some good players that are indeed second basemen. Alrighty then. Now we'll move on to the latest news and notes for today. We talked about it yesterday, the NHL lottery changes. Number of eligible lottery picks reduced to 2 starting this year, and more changes to come. The 2 changes that will be made for 2022 and beyond are restricting lottery winning teams to a 10-spot jump and limiting teams to no more than 2 lottery wins over a 5-year span. This lottery change comes on the heels of a somewhat controversial draft lottery in which resulted in the New York Rangers picking first overall despite reaching the playoffs, the expanded playoffs. So that's why they had to tighten up to the restrictions here. And the Red Wings and the Ottawa Senators ended up being big losers in the lottery this past year as they picked 4th and 5th, respectively, in the draft, despite having the 2 worst records. So, some changes in the lottery, much needed in my opinion. But there is still the opportunity for a wild card that nobody expects to jump to number 1 overall like the Rangers did. Aaron Rodgers wants the Packers to commit, and he wants assurances from Green Bay that he'll be the quarterback beyond 2021 and not just a lame duck. So this could be a situation where another quarterback could be on the move in another year or so. I know there's been Russell Wilson rumors. He wants out, but Seattle's not trading him. Deshaun Watson's a lock to move. It's just a matter of who trades for him. I think it's going to be Miami, but we could have another one on our hands. Jameis Winston was emotional about Drew Brees, and you could hear the emotion in Winston's voice as he talked about the impact Drew Brees had upon him. And it's going to be really interesting for Winston, and it's his opportunity, him and Taysom Hill, but I think it should be Winston because he has more upside. Taysom Hill, to me, is just somebody that teams know what to do against Taysom Hill now. Jameis Winston, to me, should be the starter for New Orleans unless there's a Russell Wilson trade on the way. Fernando Tatis Jr. suffered an injury yesterday, shoulder discomfort, and will have an evaluation on Wednesday. Let's hope that he will be okay, and he was fielding a ground ball when that happened. Stephen Curry is going to be out another week after an MRI revealed inflammation in the tailbone. They need him back soon because what if teams that are beneath them pass them and Golden State ends up in the play-in tournament and they could be out in one game. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. LaMelo Ball had wrist surgery. Lawrence Rookie will be reevaluated in 4 weeks after having wrist surgery. It's all in likelihood that he's going to be out for the season, which is a huge loss for the Charlotte Hornets. Aaron Gordon requested a trade, and he spoke upon it. Just my frustration kind of boiling over. A lot of people share that sentiment. I think he's going to be traded, and he'll be on a new team in 36 hours from now. It's just a matter of who. And now reports say the Raptors are shopping Lowry and Powell, and is discussing deals for both players on multiple fronts with Philly, Miami, who both want Lowry, but both have shown restraint. So let's see what happens there. And then Tristan Thompson, there's some rumors that he's not loved in the Celtics locker room, and Jaylen Brown called out some people on Twitter and was defending him. Tyler Herro is the quote-unquote sticking point in the Raptors' Heat trade talks for Kyle Lowry. It's obvious that Toronto wants him. We talked about that with Ryan Berger. But Miami should not give up Tyler Herro for a rental. Pascal Siakam heated with Nick Nurse as the Raptors fined Siakam $50,000 for using several choice words towards Nurse after loss to the Cavaliers. And this is something that Berger and I discussed yesterday. Multiple teams say that Indiana is listening to trade pitches for Malcolm Brogdon. I don't see him getting moved. I'd be surprised. He's a really good player. He's a big part of Indiana's future, so they should keep him around. Lauri Markkanen is getting interest ahead of the deadline. We'll see if Chicago pulls the trigger. He's going to be a restricted free agent. 2 Canadians in COVID protocol as Montreal's game postponed through Sunday as a result of its facility being closed due to COVID-19 protocols. We talked about this in the hockey segment. So no Montreal until Sunday. So the NHL is investigating a comment made by a referee during Detroit Nashville. And a ref appeared to say that he wanted to get a penalty against Nashville early. So it's going to be interesting to see if anything comes out from this or not. So it's going to be interesting there. Good news, Gino Ariuema will rejoin the Yukon Huskies on Wednesday for the Sweet 16 and beyond after 10-day quarantine due to a positive COVID-19 test. So that's really good. I know UConn's done fine without him, but Gino should be there, and I think in a big game against a quality opponent in a tough situation, that's where the loss of Gino could hurt them. So it's good news that he is indeed coming back. An attorney said any allegation that Deshaun Watson has forced a woman to commit a sexual act is completely false. So this Deshaun Watson thing's a mess, and it really is a he said, she said type of situation now. NCAA President Mark Emmert agrees to meet men's hoops players using hashtag not NCAA property protest on social media after the tournament. That's been like a topic of conversation as a lot of leadership stuff is going on, and a lot of finger pointing as Michigan's Isaiah Livers, Rutgers Geo Baker, and Iowa's Jordan Bohannon are pushing for the NCAA to change its rules restricting athletes from earning money for personal sponsorship deals, online endorsements, and appearances. So we'll see how this goes. So the golf stuff we'll get into tomorrow on the show. Obviously, NBA trade deadline coming up tomorrow as well. And any other trades I'll talk about on the podcast. Nick Dominican Sue back to the Bucks, 1 year, $9 million. So the Bucks have just been rocking the offseason, bringing the band back together, and they've been the big winners thus far in the offseason. So they get their veteran defensive tackle back into the fold. Now we will discuss The Masked Singer. Season 5, Episode 3 for tonight. Group A is back, and there will be a new wild card contestant entering the party. So, the Russian Dolls the seashell, the raccoon, and Robopine, and then you're going to get a wild card. Obviously, the snail went home, and it was Kermit the Frog. The Russian dolls, I know we talked about Group A on last Wednesday's show, just recapping that episode, but I'm just discuss everybody. So the Russian dolls, there was initially a doll in the intro, and then the second doll came out as a surprise in their performance to Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. And then the seashell, her entrance clue is no two shells are the same. She performed Listen to Your Heart by Roxette. I think seashell is pretty good. The raccoon, known for being sharp, was his entrance clue. He performed Wild Things by the Trogs. Porcupine, a.k.a. Robopine, his entrance clue was Proud of Not Becoming a Roadkill. He performed Never Too Much by Luther Vandross. Irony is that he sounded like Luther Vandross in the performance, but I don't think it's Luther Vandross. And as we talked about, Kermit the Frog was the snail, and it was a big surprise to kick off Season 5 of The Masked Singer. Last week, obviously, we saw a new group of contestants. Black Swan, Grandpa Monster, Chameleon, Phoenix, and Piglet. Phoenix went home, and it was Caitlyn Jenner. So, Masked Singer off to a good start with celebrities getting unmasked, and I'm interested to see who this wild card contestant who will be on the show tonight. And obviously, we will recap the episode of The Masked Singer on the podcast tomorrow. Last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. This is a hard one to do. Obviously, no NCAA until the weekend in terms of men's basketball. So my pick for best bet for tonight, I'm going to lay the 6 with Indiana. Actually, no, there's been a lot of Pacer injuries and stuff, and trade stuff. I don't want to go that route. I almost pulled the trigger there. This is pretty hard. The Jazz number just went up to 10 from 8.5. Check hockey. Maybe I'll do best bet in hockey tonight. Like I said, guys, this is pretty tough. You know what? I'm actually going to go with the hockey underdog tonight. I'm going to pull the trigger on the Los Angeles Kings straight up against the Sharks. 1.5 units. Los Angeles Kings, even money against San Jose. So there you have it for the podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping all the games from NBA, NHL, the women's tournament, spring training, looking ahead to tomorrow's games in baseball, spring training, hockey, and NBA. Shortstop rankings tomorrow. We'll recap Masked Singer and the latest news and notes I'll have as well, and trade deadline talk. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.